Hey folks, welcome back to Mark Kelly Farm. As promised, we're going to give you the rest of the Jaunt footage. So stick with us and we'll show you all the treasures that we found and the second part of our Jaunt video. Back at the tumbleweed this morning. Gonna get some breakfast before we get going. Well, we're on our third stop for today. The first two stops were pretty much yard sale stuff, but now we're into one of our favorite stores here locally. Lots of cool junk in here, and this store is only open once a year. And there's an upstairs and then another room back there, and then all upstairs is full of stuff. Old washing machine motors. And then over here we got some feet for clawfoot tubs. Only $7.50 each. Very reasonable. An old telephone. Lots of old neat stuff. This is an old sit-on-top grinder that you would pedal. Got cream separators, old wheels, cultivator wheels, windmill, rotor pieces, old ladders and signs and doors, wagon wheels, some neat stuff. We're going to go upstairs now. This is the upstairs. Literally one of everything. If you need pieces for something, he's got pieces of lots of stuff up here. Kelly's found the license plates, so we're going to go through those and try to get some for our collection. Lots of old signage in here. Old phone booth. Old tractor seats, an old feed scale here, only $70 or $65 for that. More grinding stones, old trunks, lots of old gizmos and gadgets, torches, milk cans, the old push mowers, the old cobblers, anvils here. Now this is an old hand crank bread machine. Clamps to the table, you put your dough in there, turn the crank, and it mixes and kneads your dough. That's pretty neat. Never seen one of those. So we made quite a haul in that store. We probably got 20 of the license plates we were looking for. What we're doing is Nebraska, if you didn't know, every county's got a different license plate, starts with a different number. So like if you look at this license plate over here, starts with a 4, so that comes from 4 County. So there's 93 counties in Nebraska, and I'm collecting one plate from every county to hang on the barn or the shop door. So we've knocked quite a dent in that collection this weekend. It's pretty cool. Need some horns for your Cadillac. These two things here are old-time cabbage shredders. This box slides in that trough. You got blades in there, so if you're making a bunch of coleslaw or sauerkraut, something like that, you put your head of cabbage in that box and it shreds your whole head of cabbage. There's 2 of them here. Got a skunk pelt and a raccoon pelt, and I don't know what these little things are down here. I wouldn't want to have been the dude that had to skin that skunk. Some old die-cast toys. These things do not go cheap. They're anywhere from $40 to $80 for these. Wonder how much this big John Deere is here. That one's 35. I thought that one would be more.
The implements are around the corner.
Oh, we've got all the implements over here. Got a 5-bottom plow and a bush hog and a 3-bottom plow and a feed wagon and a manure spreader. Now these old cast iron stoves are pretty neat. $45. Most people think these were made for kids, but these were actually demonstrator models the salesman would carry around back in the day. Oh, I done pulled the part off of it. Oh, there it is right there. Anyway, they would take these models around and they would show them off, because these big old cast iron stoves, you obviously couldn't carry these things around. So this was a Crescent model. So the salesman could show what the stoves look like, what features they had. They even had the little plates that would come off. Pretty cool. Now little kids love playing with these things nowadays though.
No, I don't need it. I finally found some goats you'll let me have.
Yeah, those won't eat much. And you won't have to build a very good fence for those.
$25 a piece, they'll probably cost the same.
Yeah. And I'm not being mean, so you're saying Kelly can't have goats. She can have whatever she wants, but we don't have the infrastructure to have goats. Got some neat old signs. Old fake car doors. Some of these signs are repops. I don't see any original old signs here like the enameled signs. Neat old wooden windmill looking thing. These old hand crank grinders bring back memories. These would clamp on the edge of your table and you'd turn the crank and feed stuff down through it, whether it be meat or vegetables. Whenever my mom made zucchini relish, it was always my job to turn that crank. Here's the next barn. Now some of this stuff you can go through fairly quickly, like the last barn was more yard sale-y stuff. This one looks like it's got some antiques in it. A lot of old cast iron. I've never seen one of these before. Looks like some kind of old waffle maker or something. Oh, it's called a burger press. Must make like square burgers. A neat little heart pan here. Dutch ovens and planches. These are really good for warming up tortillas. We got one at the house. Another giant skillet. I always like these square ones too. You can do like 4 pancakes in here because it's got the corners. Now this one's not very old, but if you ever buy a Dutch oven, make sure it's got those dimples under the lid, because what that does is the condensation forms on those dimples instead of running down the side of the pan, and it bastes whatever you have in the cook pot. In the last area here at the fairgrounds, I remember this from last year, they got some good junk here. So this is going to take a couple minutes. Well, it took us 2 hours to go through the fairgrounds here. Lots and lots of stuff. But now we're going to get on the highway. We got quite a ways to go for our next stop, and then we're going to work our way back towards our hometown. It's going to be a full day. And we're stopping in a little community in Nebraska called Dannebrog. Any cards on the right, Ben?
Nope, you're clear.
But it's so far it's a really cute little Danish community.
Still clear.
They're one of the flatland truckers using the Jake brake like an idiot. But cute little town. Never been here before. We hear that their pizza is phenomenal at the Danish Bakery here. So we're going to give that a shot.
He wants one of these and one of the meat in one container. How is it, babe?
Pretty good. Not as good as Callaway,
Wow.
but it's good pizza. I've only tried the first variety though. I got 3 different kinds.
What kind you get?
I got the...
What are you eating right there?
This is the Supreme, and I have the meat, and then I have the sauerkraut sausage one.
We might have to try that one at home with sausage I like.
Oh, yeah. There's a nice old hay trolley. Great condition. Another good roadside junk stop. Got literally 12 boxes of license plates here that we've already gone through. Kelly found a bunch we needed. Look at this cool one here. Out of 69 county. That's a badass license plate right there. This is an old horse-drawn dirt mover. This piece here would hook on these hooks down here and be dragged behind a horse. And there would be a handle on the back of this thing. So you'd pull up on the handle and it would dig. And then once you got it full of dirt, you'd push down on the handle where it would just slide on the ground. And wherever you wanted to deposit the dirt, you'd pull up on the handle and the whole thing would dump over. So here's an old washing machine, wooden tub. What was it, 1909, babe?
1909.
So turn that crank, and that's the action down in there, up and down, up and down. Washing your clothes. Now, if you've never seen a side saddle, this is what they look like. The ladies, because they would wear dresses, would sit side saddle and not straddle the horse. So you'd have one leg through here, one leg through here, and that would hold you on the horse. Look at this old beauty with the saddle ring on it and everything. Let's see, $4,200 for that. Nice specimen there. Old stirrup and spur collection. Had some old metal stirrups over here. Look at those. Super cool. All different kind of stirrups up on the wall. Old shoe stretcher. That gun was left out in the dirt for a while. Pretty outfit. And we come across this bit for a horse here, and the gentleman here that has the booth says it's an old medicine bit that would be in the horse's mouth. You'd put medicine in this little funnel here, and it would run down and come out into the horse's mouth here, and the horse would have to swallow the medicine. I've never seen anything like this bit before. So now we're at the Burwell, Nebraska Rodeo Grounds parking lot. Quite a few vendors out here. Some nice old butter churns here. Like 1 gallon butter churns. Old coffee grinders. I just love these big old pots. And they're very reasonably priced too. Like this gigantic one here with 3 feet on it's only $300. Worth a lot more than that. Old wagons over there. This is hands down the coolest birdhouse I've ever seen. That's pretty neat. This was a neat old idea with the irons. You'd have this iron sitting on the stove getting warm, where you're using this iron, and when this iron got cold, you'd put it on the stove, move the handle over to the other iron. And then you'd iron with that one. Right, this is Kelly's area of expertise. She's going to tell you what this is all about.
It's an old egg crate.
So you put eggs in there, and the wood protected the eggs, right?
Yeah, you could do multiple layers.
And they're stackable?
They're stackable.
I'll be darned.
And then you put the lid back on.
And then you carry it around. Transport your eggs. That's pretty cool. Never seen one of those before.
That's a double layer. This one probably holds 4.
I wonder if the new size flats would fit in there.
I think so.
The cardboard flats or the paper press paper flats.
Humpty Dumpty crates.
Yep, Humpty Dumpty crate.
Made by Humpty Dumpty.
I'll be darned. Sure enough, Humpty Dumpty.
Cadillac, Michigan.
This vendor's the mayor of Crockville here. Look at these.
That's a load of crap.
Got a number 30 crock over here. That thing's like 3 feet tall, 2 foot in diameter. Of course, they're all missing the lids, of course. Except the old butter crocks over here, the butter churns. They still have the lids. Got some old moonshine jugs. And all these signs here, these badge signs are real deal. They're enamel. Real nice old signs. I love this, the power of Tarzan gasoline. That's pretty cool. He's got a bunch of them. He's got Indian motorcycles. And they're all enamel. Good morning, folks. The start of day 3. We weren't originally going to do 3 days, but we got to our final destination yesterday and everything was closing up. So we whipped back out here this morning. We'll probably go till about lunch. Our first stop here is Taylor, Nebraska. We stopped in and got some seafood pies. Got a shrimp pie and a crawfish pie. Sounded really good. So we're going to take those home and eat those later. And I just finished a little tiny chocolate pie that was phenomenal. So we're going to go on to our next junk location. We also picked up some freeze-dried items at that last place. They had some freeze-dried ice cream. They had some freeze-dried saltwater taffy and some freeze-dried candies that were really interesting, like Skittles and all that. Pretty neat. Today's officially the second day of Junk Jaunt, even though it's our third day. And by the second official day, things get pretty well picked over. This place looks a little more promising. I know we had a good variety here last year. Lots of live edge planks. Somebody's got a sawmill nearby. A lot of nice cedar planks. Alright, we've made it to Taylor, Nebraska, where we've caught up with Smoke on Wheels Barbecue, our hands down favorite barbecue source. This is Brandon and his wife, and it's a family affair. He brings his kids along too. I don't know your name.
I'm Hattie.
Alright, she's running the register today. But if you want the best barbecue in Nebraska, this is the one. And you can find them on Instagram at that address and Facebook at that address. And if you run across them, you will not be sorry. They were gracious enough to give us a pound of brisket last night after they closed.
Yes, thank you for that.
Come back for lunch today. Skulls, $2 each. And some hip bones. Hip bones are $1. And some old saddles. $1 for these old saddles. Boy, if a guy knew how to recondition leather, could make some money off of a couple of these still in decent shape. This one's pretty much gone. But these other two saddles, some saddle soap and some conditioning, would pull them right back. Junk Jaunt for me is just as much about the food. You can find some fantastic food around the circuit. This is the kolache, and they sell these all over Nebraska. They're pretty popular. It's like a cinnamon roll dough with some fruit filling on the inside. They don't use like a pastry dough like you would find on a Danish, but the ones we found here just south of Taylor, Nebraska at one of the stops are the best we've had so far. And I just had my brisket for lunch, and man, Brandon never disappoints. Fantastic stuff. Now the food places that I recommend that are on the route that's on the map. If you want a good breakfast, go to your Tumbleweed restaurant, of course. Great Mexican food at Chewy's in Ansley, Nebraska. There's a really good bakery in Danish Nebraska. And then you got the Smoke on Wheels barbecue in Taylor, Nebraska. It's really good. And if you go out north of Taylor on the way to Brewster, Nebraska, out in the middle of nowhere, there's the Dunbar Ranch. It's the cattleman that has a big ranch out there. They do prime rib sandwiches right there on their ranch, and they always have stuff, junk to sell too. But we had their prime rib sandwiches there last year. Were really good. His wife makes all the pies fresh. Super good. Now in Sargent, Nebraska, at the community center, one of the churches sets up there. They do a pulled pork sandwich and some local sausages that the local locker plant makes that are really good. They do a kraut dog, and they also have all of their homemade pastries. All the ladies make homemade pastries. Fantastic, out of this world. And if you're during the week, not on the weekend because they're closed on the weekend, and go to Arcadia, Nebraska, which is not on the loop, but if you're doing like half a loop a day, you can kind of cross there in Arcadia, get back to where you're going. The Corner Cafe, run by some Mennonite folks, fantastic food. I would go there just for the coconut cream pie. Is off the hook. I wouldn't expect to see one of these in Nebraska unless they use them for railroads too. The last time I seen one of these, they carried them on the San Francisco Fire Department trucks. And it's a big lever with wheels on it that they would use to get the cable cars back on the track if they'd come off the track. You just pry them with that lip up underneath the wheel and bump it back over. It's about 6 feet tall. Well, we gave her hell on the third day, but everything's pretty well picked over. About the only thing left is glassware and old clothes. So we're going to call it a day. It's just afternoon. We got our lunch where we wanted to get it. So we're going to head home, and we'll pile everything up and show you the treasures that we acquired this weekend. All right, folks, we are back home in the shop. We got all unloaded. So let's show you our haul. We got this big piece of perforated drain pipe for like $1 for a project that we're doing here on the homestead. We've got this old natural gas danger, do not smoke or light matches, keep fires away. I thought it was a really cool sign, and it's porcelain. It's original sign. Super nice. We've got these 2 rubber feed buckets, basically brand new almost. We've got all but 15 of the 93 license plates we need for every county in Nebraska. So we did really well on that. So got to find the other 15. Kelly found these 2 old things here for flower pots. This is a real old heavy aluminum pot. And then this is an old egg basket that she's going to turn into like a hanging planter, I think. We ended up getting those 2 skid steer plates yesterday. My cousin bought them. I called him because he's got a skid steer. So I dropped the one off at his house, and this one we still need to build with. And then if he doesn't want this one, I'll buy it from him, and then I'll build something for our tractor with that. And then Kelly got another cool old bucket. She loves these old things. I've got 2 full bottles of black powder which is hard to come by nowadays. And then I got some brand new horseshoes. Kelly got this little thing that hangs on the fence that you can feed chickens little treats in. She's got this little enamel dipper pot. It's really cute. She's going to use for feed or something like that. We got Ramona a new ball glove. She'll really like that. Got a whole bag of wildflower seed, all separated in Ziploc bags. Got a whole bunch of those. And then Kelly found this gigantic colander. Look how big that thing is. It's got a big base on it. For when we bring things out of the garden, we can wash them right in that big colander. And then we found 2 extra boat bumpers for our pontoon boat, because we only have 2 and we always have to switch whatever side the boat they're on, depending on which side we pull up to the dock. Not pictured is all the goodies we bought, all the pastries and some of the other food that we ate along the way. And like I said, that's part of the highlight for me, is going out and doing that. But I love seeing all the old junk. Even if I don't buy it, I love looking at it. It brings back lots of memories, because I remember a lot of this stuff on the farms that I grew up in. So it's nice seeing all that old stuff. So it's not just about going out and buying stuff. And if you've seen my shop, I've got pretty much everything I need here in this shop. So I don't have to go out and buy a lot of stuff. Mostly the stuff we get now is like decorator stuff. But every now and then we'll come across an item that we're looking for. Oh, by the way, it wasn't from Jaunt, but it was during Jaunt. We found a complete windmill top. If you remember, we have that windmill tower out here that was given to us by our neighbors. Now we found a complete windmill unit to go on top. It's the full rotor, gearbox, and tail that's got the aero motor riding on it and everything. We lucked out on that. We got it for a great price. So now we have a complete windmill, and we can put that thing up. It's going to be for decoration. It's not going to run. It'll be a giant weather vane, but it's going to look cool. We've always wanted a windmill. So I hope you've enjoyed the last 3 days of Jaunt. It's a long process, but it's fun. If you like junk, Nebraska is where you need to be in late September, because Jaunt's just amazing. You probably should be here the day before if you're going to go, because there's a few places that open up. You'll get a jump on a lot of that stuff. And then the first day is by far the best day to go, because today's only the second official day and everything was all picked over. I can't imagine what it'll be like tomorrow. A lot of people will probably just close because they don't have a lot of stuff. So third day is probably not even worth going. So till next time, stay safe, stay healthy, y'all. If you got any questions, always down in the comments. And we'll post a couple videos here you might like. We love you. We'll see you on the next video.